I don't know. And I started using Twitter because I was like, all right, well, it is supposedly an underrated platform for growth. And, the bullshit reason everybody starts using social media. It's like, well, this is going to help my business. And then as soon as you start using it, you're like, oh, but I forgot it was going to fuck up my mental health. Welcome to another episode of The Pupil's Life, episode 76. I'm recording this before the new year, but if you're listening to this, it is 2021, and you are now in the year that everybody has been waiting for. Right? I don't think ever in the history of the world there has been a year that people have been anticipating more than 2021. And oddly, it's for the opposite reason that most people anticipate years all the time. It's like 2008, I think, or 2012. It was supposed to be the end of the world, according to the Mayan calendar. And everybody was like, I wonder if it's going to be the end of the world. I can't wait for 2012. And then they made a movie with John Cusack, and everybody went to watch it in the movies. And then it felt like, all right, I got to experience the end of the world, but I knew it wasn't going to happen, right? So all that anticipation. And what for? Well, 8 years later, near end of the world has come, and now people think that it's just all going to disappear as soon as the calendar turns a year. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. This is The Pupil's Life. Sometimes we're optimistic, and sometimes we're not. Sometimes there is wisdom to be found here, and sometimes it's just bullshit. Sometimes it's just me saying fart jokes and just dicking around. But I'm wearing my pajamas. I'm wearing my pajamas because I've just been, it's always the same. Every fucking holiday season, it's the same thing. There's that week after Christmas and before New Year's where you're just like, what the fuck do I do? Like, what am I even? What is supposed to be my life today? I applied to 2 jobs, I think like a week ago. And I was just, as soon as I applied to them, I was like, fuck, man. I started to feel very sort of frozen, and it's just been, I've been recovering from that these last few days, just like not feeling like I want to do anything, just feeling very like, fuck it, man. I just want to, just fucking be. I just want to be, man. I just want to be here. And if all I can do today is my 1 hour meditation, then fucking that's all I need to do. You know what I mean? Like, because sometimes, dude, I've been using Twitter again, and it's been bad, but for different reasons, right? Somehow I've found a way to escape from like toxic Twitter, where it's just people like, you gotta wear a fucking mask, and oh, you're a fucking pussy, you believe in the government, and it's just that kind of stuff. Somehow my Twitter feed has completely erased that. But what's happened now is that I decided that I was going to follow people that are like actually doing stuff with their life, entrepreneurs, activists, like people that, I don't mean like activists like the fucking protests. I just mean like activists that are, actually doing an activity to save a group of people or animals or something, like that fucking Dutch kid that built the thing that was supposed to clean out our oceans. And you never heard from him again, Who knows where Boyan Zlat is? He's a teenager, dude. That was the fucking crazy thing. He's a teenager. But yeah, somehow now my Twitter is, not somehow, I picked them out. Entrepreneurs and investors and that kind of stuff, and what's it called? Thought leaders. And so what's happened now is that, dude, it's just, you start to, the thing that people always say about like Instagram and Facebook, which I never feel, because my Instagram and Facebook is mostly just fucking people sharing memes and pictures of quotes, and so you never actually see those people's lives, so I don't see what there would be to be jealous about or to feel like your life isn't good enough or all that stuff, right? But on Twitter, dude, the people I've followed, they're like, you could either read this tweet and go do 10 push-ups and get off your ass, or you could keep scrolling and be one of those fucking weak people. And I'm just like, fuck, dude. And I keep scrolling, and then I see another one, and it's like, dude, look, I'll just fucking, just so you get what I mean. So I'm not making these up. Like, I'll refresh it real quick. And then what do I see? I just told a 55-year-old man at the gym to look me in the eye when criticizing my use of a machine, and that he was acting like a 7-year-old child. He told the teacher on me. Teacher sided with me. All right, that's kind of a bad one. What the fuck, dude? Abstinence is easier than moderation, but moderation is more effective than abstinence. You just sit there and you think like, fuck, dude. It just makes you think like, okay, well, I'm abstinent from marijuana, but they're saying moderation is more effective, and I'm like, does that mean I should start smoking again? It just like, I think it's something to do with me, man. Like something to do with me that where I have a hard time taking in input from other people and not immediately doubting everything that I had established for myself prior to that input, Like, like I think I'm doing well, and I think that I'm, if I look at where I was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I'm in a much better place. But then I read shit like that, and it's like, if you're not fucking, most people don't know that it just takes 6 months to like get the life that you want. And I'm like, dude, that's fucking bullshit, man. That's fucking, that's just you trying to sell me one of your courses, right? But then there's like 50 other entrepreneurs piling into the conversation, and they're like, yeah, man, you go get him. Everybody's fucking weak and obedient these days. And it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. And I started using Twitter because I was like, all right, well, it is supposedly an underrated platform for growth. And, the bullshit reason everybody starts using social media, it's like, well, this is going to help my business. And then as soon as you start using it, you're like, oh, but I forgot it was going to fuck up my mental health. What do I do now? Do I quit my business and feel good? Or do I feel like shit and not have a business either because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, man? That is, you know, that's the modern day dilemma for people that are trying to make it. And on one hand, you read this kind of stuff and you're like, all right, it just takes 6 months to get the life you want. And you're like, fuck it, 6 months, man. I could strap in for 6 months and I can do it. I can do it. And then, fuck. And then I wake up and I'm just like, I'm yawning. Like, just fucking slow stretches. And it's like 8:15 and I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, I could go for another 30 minutes. And then I wake up and it's 9:30. Just like, fuck. Um, maybe it's just there's something, man. There's something there, right? There's something I'm not seeing, or there's something I'm not willing to accept. There's some responsibility I'm not willing to uh, be held accountable for. I don't know what it is. It's or maybe it's just how they say you need to befriend your coping mechanisms. I've been watching a lot of fucking Instagram reels the last 2 days, and I know that that's coping because I'm anxious, dude, about what the two job applications that I submitted will be resulting in. And if they are rejections, then what does that mean for my future? What do I do then? Where do I go from here? And I've just, it's for such a long time, I was very, of the mindset that a service industry job was the way to go, because everybody that has an office job is always just like fucking whining and bitching about how much they hate it and how drained they are and how it's they don't have time for any creativity. And I was like, that sounds like hell. I would rather not have that much money but be able to work on my books and be able to work on these things. And I think the thing you come to realize with creativity is that it's rewarding for yourself first, right? So like all the stuff that I write is primarily, it starts with me. If I didn't enjoy doing it, or if I didn't get anything out of it, I would stop. But then after 5 published books, you just start to, and reading other books, right, about like who, not how, like, oh, you want to impact more people and blah, blah, blah. It's like after publishing 5 books myself and sort of doing all the fucking legwork, all of the logistics and all that, and could be doing it better if it was somebody that actually knew what they were doing, so that I could just focus on the writing. But after 5 books, it's just like, all right, I could keep doing the same thing and it'll probably still be fun, but my mission is to help people that are in pain by sharing my truth with them. So how can I reach more people? And that's why I started the podcast a little bit over a year ago. I was like, okay, this is a new medium. Maybe people that don't want to read a full length novel or memoir or short stories or articles, people that don't like reading, maybe they'll want to listen. Maybe they'll want to listen. And then I got the camera and I was like, maybe if they don't want to listen, they'll want to watch. So, there's improvements here and there. And that's the thing I need to remind myself, is that I'm my own worst critic, right? Everybody says that. I hate that fucking phrase, but it's very true. Like these last few days, I'm just like, oh, if I don't get the job, then I'm a failure. And it's like, motherfucker, 2 weeks ago, these jobs didn't even exist. And I felt on top of the world, like, yeah. But yeah, I'm just thinking about, I want to make a wider impact. I want to reach more people, because it is important to help, even if it's only one person. And I've gotten several messages like that makes it worth it, right? But at the end of the day, I do feel like I'm doing a disservice to myself and to other people if I'm not trying to reach more people. It's like, this could be something that a lot of other people are experiencing and they feel alone, and I could reach those people. But by just being like, fuck it, dude, I'll just, put in as little effort as I can so that I can coast, then those people are going to still be alone, and they're still going to be, doing whatever they're doing, snorting cocaine in a dirty bathroom, or like, giving a strange man blowjobs at a bar because they want like a fucking, they want their girlfriends to think that they're cool or they're attractive or whatever. I don't know, whatever people are going through. Um, and yeah, man. So I guess I've just, because I've been feeling all this, and I've not because of that. Honestly, it was just good sales that got me. But I've decided I'm going to do another ketamine infusion, and I'm doing that this this weekend, actually, the weekend before this episode comes out. So by the time you're listening to it, I will have done it. But that's kind of why I'm recording it right now, because I just want to have the weekend clear of shit to do and just be a little bit present. Not a little, I can be a lot. I want to be present, man, with the experience, because it really did fucking, pull me out of a depression, man. Like, not just doing the infusion, but it opened the doors for me to pull myself out of my depression, and to actually feel all the bullshit that I was running away from. But it's a skill that you need to keep practicing, and I'm doing a good job, but I just it is on the back burner for me at all times, that I want to continue my plant medicine journey. And they offered a nice little discount for this dead week between Christmas and New Year's Eve. So I was like, all right, I don't have a job, so I've got all the time that I need. I don't need to ask for days off. I don't need to be anywhere. I don't have any of these responsibilities. This is a perfect time, man. It's almost like it coincided for a reason, you know. And so I am very excited about that. I'm doing that on Saturday, and I'm doing the highest dose that I've ever done. I think 180 milligrams. I think the previous one was 160, and I haven't done one since June, I think, or July, whatever the sixth month. Um, and yeah, it's gonna be the second, I think, of the second day of January. So it'll be a new year, man. And what a better way to start that than, with a fucking ketamine infusion, man. I don't recommend everyone do it, but it's just like, if you're thinking about it already, go for it. If you're already thinking about it and you're just on the fence about like plant medicine, there's a lot of it that is difficult and it's painful, but there's so much just like relief, especially with the ketamine, where it's just like it starts to seep into your body. And if you're comfortable with the sort of dissociating process, which I've grown to be comfortable with. I wasn't when I smoked DMT, man. But that's a story that I've talked about before. If you're comfortable with that process, it's just like everything disappears. All the bullshit, all the, oh, I'm not going to be okay if I don't get this job, or I'm not going to be okay if I don't just get another service industry job right now so that I don't waste my savings, or, oh, I'm not making an impact if I don't find a who for my fucking house, and all of that noise. It's just like, hey, buddy, you're feeling stressed out. Oh, I hear you, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. Everything is okay. It's basically what your body is being fed, is like, everything is okay. You're just, it's like it just is like this warmth, man, that like, and maybe it's the music I choose, because if I was listening, some people have recommended that I listen to like, sort of like electronic music, and I'm like, fuck, and I don't know about that, like Odessa kind of electronic. But I listen to, like flute, Indian, Native American flute, like sounds of the western winds kind of shit, like, you know, like what you would think would be like the soundtrack to something like Braveheart. Even I've never seen Braveheart, but just like, people like running in the fields and just fucking uh and so I don't know if that has anything to do with it or what it is, but I also have been, dude, I must have slept somehow on my shoulder that fucked it up, but like I just got this crick in my left side of my shoulder and neck. And I just remember during one of my infusions that like it just like alleviates your pressure, all the pressure that we don't know we're putting on ourselves. Um, which in this case I know I'm putting on myself, but it's still hard to it's hard not to it's hard not to feel sorry for yourself sometimes. It's just like, you sorry sack of shit, man. You're gonna watch reels for another 20 minutes? Really? What have you done with your life today? But then it's like, I don't need to do anything, man. I'm good just how I am. I'm worthy just how I am. And it's like this back and forth and back and forth. And then you do the ketamine and it's just like, hey, dude, you're not even this back and forth. That's not even the right back and forth. The right back and forth is just straightforward. It's not fucking, it's just forward. It's not back. It's just forward. It's just keep going, man. It's just let the fucking world come to you as it may, and you do your best. And at the end of the day, you're just another ant on this spinning ball that that you've traveled less than a half of a tenth of a percent of. Do you know what that means? Like, I even people that have traveled, that like travel a lot, like the world is 100%, and I don't know how much of it is water, right? But let's just say that it's 50% water. That means there's 50% of land. I'm making this up, but let's say there's 50% land to explore, right? There's 50% of water to explore, but you got to know how to scuba dive. You got to have a boat. That's a whole nother ball game, right? So let's just say of the 50% of land that there is to explore, even the travel bloggers and those people, even those people have traveled less than a half of a tenth of a percent of that 50%. Because if you go to Brazil and you're like, oh, dude, Rio de Janeiro, I'm here to fucking bebo leche, like just fucking, you think you're like getting the full experience. You got like 1/1000th of Rio de Janeiro, and for someone like me who has only been to the US and Mexico, I think that's the only two places that I've been, the only two countries. Then it's like, oh, well, what is the US and Mexico? Let's say that that's like 15% of the. So now you're talking not even 50%. Now you're talking 15%. Not even, dude. It's probably like 8. So, I'm just another fly on the wall. Um, and I just have to remind myself, that everything else, all the self-criticism, all the bullshit in my head, it's all my ego just trying to get its way, trying to establish itself as the driver of my life, right? Because if I don't do this today, then it means I'm not good enough. And if I don't fucking stop watching reels, which eventually I will, but it's my ego's like, if you keep watching it right now, you'll always watch it. And like, It's like, dude, just chill. Just let me fucking relax. Okay. I've been unemployed for like less than 2 weeks. Let me fucking relax. All right. Um, and the other thing, and I was talking to a girl about this yesterday. Um, I went on a date yesterday or last night. Yeah, last night. And I was talking to her on the date about it. You know, what was the question she asked me? She said, "What is?" Oh, I told her about my hour meditations that I've been doing, and she said, "What's been one of your takeaways?" And I said, honestly, one of my takeaways has been that, um, fuck, man, it's like when you try to remember one thing about another thing, then you remember it and you forget the other thing. Um, Fuck yeah, I blanked, man. I blanked on it. It'll come back though. It'll come back. We were talking about meditation and um, fuck, dude. Oh, about the yeah. So what was one of my takeaways? She asked, and I told her, well, one of my takeaways, I've noticed this same thought loop that I get into when whenever I find something that looks like it could be a game changer for me, whether that's a person, whether that's a job, whether that's any kind of opportunity. Whenever I find that's the thing, not a game changer. Whenever I find an opportunity, I am my default is to think, oh, if I lose this opportunity, there will never be another opportunity like this again. And what I've been doing this time, at least, I have to go through the thought loop enough times to where I'm like, all right, well, this isn't fucking getting me anywhere. So what's at the core of this thought loop? Why is it that I'm viewing? And I was using the example of the 2 job applications with her. I said, why is it that I'm having this thought loop with the fucking job applications that didn't exist 2 weeks ago? Why is it that this thing came in and now I'm like, oh, this is going to save my life. And if I don't get it, then I'm going to be, you know, fucking, uh, you know, fucked, I guess, for lack of a better word. And once I have that thought loop enough times, I get deeper with it. And it's like, I'm afraid of something. If I'm looking for a savior, that means that I am afraid of something. And where is that fear coming from? Okay, well, this time it was coming from I just finished working a food service industry job at a food truck, and I'm wanting to make more of an impact in people. I'm just wanting a change, you know. I'm wanting a change of what I work in, because you know, I could find another job at another food truck, at another store, at another restaurant, and I would still be happy. I would still be learning, I would still be growing, but I want to find another way to grow. I want to find another way to challenge myself and just grow up a little bit. Like, I want to have more. I want to maybe buy a car, and that's not to say that you can't do that with a service industry job, but I don't know. I want to learn from someone that isn't just teaching me how to fucking make food, and how to make hot and cold drinks. Um, and so yeah, there's that want that I want to change, but then there's the fear was like, if I don't get these 2 jobs, then my life is going to be over because I'm not going to know what to do, right? And then it's like, okay, well, is that true? Oh, well, if I don't get those 2 jobs, then what happens? I could find other jobs that still are not service industry jobs and apply to those. I've got a couple months. I'm not in any rush as far as my savings. Man, it feels like I've fucking had this conversation about, like, I've got like 3 months on the line, fucking when I was thinking about quitting my restaurant job. And yeah, it's so funny. Like, when the pandemic hit and I was like, fuck, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Uh But what was I gonna say, man? Yeah, I could find another job, like just other companies here in Austin. I could try to, there's a couple courses, pretty cheap courses that I've found that, like some web design. I don't know. I don't even know what that means. And maybe I take the course and my life doesn't change and I don't become a fucking millionaire, right? Like, or I don't get a bunch of clients, but maybe now I know how to do web design, right? And so it's like looking at the glass half full instead of half empty. And okay, so the fear is that my life is going to be over. Okay, well, I could look for those other jobs. What if I don't get those jobs? And what if I don't take those courses? All right, well, you could get another job at a food truck or another job at a restaurant. And you were doing that a month ago and you were fine. You were happy, dude. You were, that you weren't hitting your fullest potential, but you also, the world wasn't ending. And so what's the fear about, really? And it's just because I'm comfortable being in this state of fear. Not comfortable. Like my fucking shoulder hurts, there's all this stuff. I'm watching reels, man. But it is more comfortable for me to be in a state of uncertainty and fear and just like pity, dude, almost, than it is to just fucking, hold myself accountable and just be like, all right, man, well, it's up to you to get out of this fucking hole, right? Nobody's going to come rescue you. You think fucking, excuse me, you think fucking, somebody's going to just like know, oh yeah, this guy needs some help, I'm going to fucking fix his life for him. Like that doesn't, I wouldn't even be happy if that happened. And so basically that's what I was telling this girl, was like, a lot of times when I'm afraid, there's not really anything to be afraid of. And it's just an emotional state I put myself in out of a habit, out of conditioning, out of fears from when I was a kid, and trauma, which is also why I'm going into the ketamine infusion. Just helps me reconnect, man. And it's not something that I do super regularly. And if I ever do, then, that's a sign that I need to slow down a little bit, because this isn't, you're not doing plant medicine fucking every other week, right? Maybe if you're doing it like the first 6 ketamine infusions that I did, which is like a little series, then if you're being introduced to it, then maybe you do, but it's for a short period of time, After that, if you're doing ayahuasca, dude, and if you're doing fucking mushrooms and LSD and all these things, whether they're in a guided setting or not, if you're doing those things regularly, like fucking, how I just said, then I think you're chasing something other than healing. But I don't feel like I'm doing that, right? The last time I did mushrooms was like before I moved into this apartment, which was in September. So that's December, November, October, September. That's 4 months right there. And I don't think it wasn't even in August. It was in July. So that's like over 5 months ago, and the ketamine infusion was, I think, like a month and a half or 2 before that. And so I feel pretty comfortable, like, that it's time. Because that was my goal, was, okay, I'm going to do this plant medicine thing. I'm going to take at least a month between each time. And I say at least just as like the very minimum. I'm never going to do it. I'm never going to do 2 like heavy sessions in the same month, right? Unless I'm being introduced to a new plant or a new medicine. Like I haven't done and I'm speaking in therapeutic settings. I'm not talking about, I've fucking done a lot of drugs outside of that, but I've only done mushrooms and ketamine as far as healing go. And so when I'm introduced to MDMA, hopefully when it's legal and I can do it in a place with professionals, then maybe they'll say, like, oh, well, we want to do 3 in 1 month and then 1 every other month after that, or something like that. So that could be the exception, um, but yeah, it's just the process that I don't know why I'm even fucking explaining myself to you, I don't even know why I'm fucking explaining myself to you. Um, and so yeah, man, it's the end of the year. We all become fucking self-reflecting, just fucking, jerking off to ourselves and whatever we think our problems are. We're like, oh my God, it's my problems. And if I don't fix them, it's all going to end. And, the world is about more than just your fucking problems, man. The world is about more than just your fucking problems. And that's a good reminder sometimes. I started doing a surrender journal. It's one of the few times that I didn't look this up anywhere. I just thought of it during one of my meditations, was like, all right, I've stopped doing my gratitude journal because I've been doing it for on and off for, I would say, 6 years now, 5 years, almost 6 years. And I feel that it is, I want to move, I want to advance to something else. And so I am applying sort of the elements of a gratitude journal, but to the concept of surrender. And the concept of surrender is basically to accept what you're feeling and not try to change it. Right. So right now I'm feeling like lack of clarity in my thoughts, and I'm feeling just unmotivated. And I'm feeling, and instead of trying to, like, oh, dude, stop feeling fucking unmotivated, man. Come on, pick yourself up and get off your fucking ass. It's just like, all right, well, but first, how about you feel that, where that's coming from? And I hate that it's always kind of the same answer, right? It's always like, where I feel unmotivated, I feel sorry for myself. Where's that coming from? Oh, well, that if I don't get these jobs, then I'm going to feel like a failure and like I've let someone down because I didn't accomplish enough, because that was how I was raised, that by accomplishing, I earned my worth. And so the surrender journal is, it's this book called Letting Go by David R. Hawkins, which I've mentioned before several times. And he mentions the concept. Oh, fuck, dude. He mentions this concept of surrender and sort of how to, I don't want to say combat it, but how to work through it. And so if it's just about like letting whatever is there be there, right? But that sounds very abstract. And as I'm reading it, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to fucking let whatever's there be there. And it's about not labeling things, right? And because sometimes it's like, he even says that the word fear is a program. And what he means by program is like this whole thing that we buy into. And once we buy into the idea of fear, then there's this whole other set of norms that govern the program of fear. If you're afraid, that means that you're a little bit like physically weaker, and it means that there's an enemy, or that there's something that you need to overcome, right? And what is fear? You can't feel fear, but you can feel the physical sensations and of fear, right? What is fear? It is fucking like paranoia, or maybe that's a program too. I'm not an expert when it comes to this fucking book. I've only read it once, and it's a pretty pretty dense fucking, it's very easy to like read and understand, but it's just like there's so many ideas and concepts, and they're so simple yet complex that it's like trying to explain it to someone else is not easy. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to talk through it, but yeah, it's basically about trying to let go of surrendering. It's about trying to let go of what you wish was and accepting what is. And so for me, that plays in two different ways, right? If I say, today I'm surrendering my sadness, that means today I'm going to feel my sadness, right? Instead of holding my sadness captive, I'm going to surrender it and let it free and let it express itself. And then there is also, if I say today I'm surrendering my belief that I'm not good enough, that means today I'm going to feel where that's coming from and just stop letting that govern me, and I'm not going to buy into this belief and this program of accomplishment. And so that's kind of the idea behind the journal is, with the gratitude journal, I used to do it, and I'm sure there's different ways of doing this. I would do it for 5 minutes in the morning, and I would just say, I would write the word grateful, underline it, and under that, I would write what I was grateful for, right? So it was like that it's fucking 79 degrees and sunny outside because I hate it when it's raining and cold in Austin. I didn't write that whole thing, right? I'm just saying why I would write that. But today I'm grateful that fucking I don't have to go to work. When I was working at that job where people could just call each other faggots and nothing would happen to them. Today I'm grateful that I wrote 1,000 words. Today I'm grateful that I worked out, stuff like that. And so I'm applying the same thing. It's like, instead of today I'm grateful, today I surrender, ... underline, and then it's all just bullet points from there for 5 minutes. I'm doing it at the end of every day, and I haven't been doing it every single day. I've started doing this in the last few days. And so it's like, today I surrender the program of allergies, dude. Because doctors have told me that because I live in Austin, Texas, and the cedar fever or whatever the fuck is so strong in Austin and in Texas, that my tonsils are just going to always flare up. I'm never going to know why. I'm never going to know when. It's just your allergies could be the cause of your tonsil getting infected and swollen up. And I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense, man. Oh, there's this cedar. What the fuck? I want to look this up so that I can fucking debunk it, man, on the podcast. Cedar fever. There's a K-Chan Austin. Cedar pollen count explodes to near record level. Cedar fever or coronavirus. It's that time of year. Here's how to know the difference. It's like two different programs that they're trying to fucking feed you. It's like, do you have this fucking set of things that we made up? Or do you have this other set of things that we made up? Or do you just have a runny nose and a tight chest and you need to fucking rest and get some Z's, take some vitamins, and, go for a walk, man, or watch a movie and not do anything. But yeah, I'm just going to look up a fucking healthline.com all about cedar fever, right? They're going to teach me the program of cedar fever. And the reason, just to break it down a little bit more, the reason that this guy, David, calls all these things programs is because you can't feel allergies. Like, allergies are an abstract concept that we made up, and we can't feel an allergy, right? The example he uses, which is my favorite, is with asthma. He says asthma is a program because you can't feel asthma. You can. What are the physical sensations? And it's like difficulty breathing, which he even says, like, people say, "Oh, I'm not getting enough air." That's a program. It's like, how the fuck do you know what enough air is? You know, what is it? I want to say this right so I don't butcher it, because I have the quote right here. I did not go to the right link, but I will get there in a second. Bear with me. Right. There we go. Surrender journal. Boom. All right. Stop giving the physical disorder a name. Do not label it. A label is a whole program. Surrender what is actually felt, which are the sensations themselves. We cannot feel a disease. A disease is an abstract concept held in the mind. We cannot, for instance, feel asthma. What is actually being experienced is a constriction in the throat or chest. And so it's the same thing with this fucking cedar fever thing. Is like, I can't feel allergies, but I can feel that my nose is fucking stuffed, you know, and I like, and I mean, I can actually just sit and feel that and not try to like find a reason for it. Cedar fever isn't actually a fever. All right, well then you fucking gaslit me already, dude. That's in the headline and the introductory sentence. You fucking gaslit me. All right, man? So why am I going to listen to anything else that you have to say? Fucking all about cedar fever, all about something that isn't actually what I'm saying it is, dude. It's so fucking annoying, man. And the worst thing is that these people probably don't even know that they're doing this. It's an allergic response to mountain cedar trees. When you inhale the pollen that the trees produce, you may experience the unpleasant cedar fever symptoms. Cedar fever is essentially a seasonal allergy. Pollen from the cedar tree, like many other, causes an inflammatory response in your body. When you inhale cedar pollen, the substances. So that's what I mean is that, like, I can't feel cedar fever, but I could feel my body getting inflammatory response, bloated or whatever. The substances in the pollen trigger your immune system. Although the pollen itself is harmless, your immune system generates an inflammatory to block what it sees as potentially dangerous intruder. See, so they are fucking breaking themselves apart in this thing. Although the pollen itself is harmless. If it's harmless, dude, how the fuck is it going to do anything to my system then? How the fuck is this a concept? It's because you buy into it and then you create the space for that to happen to you. You know, cedar fever symptoms include the following: blocked nasal passages, fatigue, itchy, watery eyes, itchy sensation all over, partial loss of smell, runny nose, sneezing, sore throat. How do you treat cedar fever? You can treat cedar fever by taking medications. Bullshit, man. That's all they say for how do you treat cedar fever. You know how I treat cedar fever, man? I don't believe in it. And you know how I fucking, you know, when my chest feels tight or my nose feels runny or when my throat feels constricted, you know how I deal with it, man? You know how I fucking treat it? By getting more sleep, by taking vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D3, and by resting, you know, by fucking resting. That's it, man. Since I've been doing that, my tonsils haven't flared up again. So I don't know, man. You tell me if this concept is bullshit or if it's got some truth to it. It's also backed by heavy amounts of science, and not just modern science, but like fucking dates. It dates back, man. It fucking dates back. So So yeah, man, I don't know how I got onto that topic, but cedar fever. It's oh yeah, the surrender journal. So today I surrender, dude. That's another one. Today I surrender the fucking program of cedar fever, meaning I am no longer gonna believe in cedar fever because it's just an abstract concept that I choose not to hold in my mind. Eh. It was funny, man. The other day, my brother's girlfriend asked me, I sneezed like 2 times. She said like, "Oh, do you have allergies?" And I said, "No, I don't have allergies. Um, I just haven't been sleeping that well." Right? Because that's how much I'm trying to like let go of this fucking concept is that I don't even want, just for the sake of fucking quicker conversation, I don't even want to say, "Oh, yes, I've been having allergies," because that's not true. That's not true, man. What I've been having is a constriction of the throat and a fucking, a sharp fucking dagger, a sharp dagger in my left shoulder and neck. I've had an ache in my body. Instead of just like, oh yeah, I've got cedar fever, and now that means that all these other symptoms, which I'm not currently experiencing, are possible too. Then your body's like, oh, it's possible that I might have a fucking itchy eye, dude. Well, now I'm gonna prepare for an itchy eye. And how does it prepare for an itchy eye, dude? By overstimulating your immune system. And when you do that, then you produce toxic fucking toxins, not toxic toxins. Yeah, not a lot of people don't know that, man. That's why it's not good to like overdose on vitamins. Um, Overstimulated immune system. Um, in many cases, an immune system that overreacts is as harmful and dangerous as one that stops working. In general, overactive immune system leads to many autoimmune disorders because of hyperactive immune responses. Your body can't tell the difference between your healthy normal cells and invaders. So boom, there you fucking go, man. There you fucking go. I don't need my body to be worried about fucking 30 different symptoms. I just need it to sit and feel the ones that are there and identify, oh, this is just, this is a product of, just something I need to feel, man. And a lack of wanting to feel it, right? It's why people that like my dad, he's always got a fucking shoulder pain or a back pain. It's like he never fucking sits and just like feels it. He's always like, I'm fine, dude. I'm gonna go fucking work for another 8 hours. And then he's always fucking like in pain, and I wonder what would happen if he decided to just feel that pain, dude. Well, that's another thing he says actually is that pain is another program. David R. Hawkins says that pain is a program, because we are not. I don't know. It's getting a little bit fucking ethereal, if that's even a word. But the Surrender Journal, I am hoping will have some of the same effects as the Gratitude Journal. Right, the Gratitude Journal is about reminding yourself to be grateful. The Surrender Journal is about reminding myself not to hold programs in my mind that don't serve me and that aren't true and that are just abstract concepts we made up. And it's also a way to, remind myself to feel and to identify what it is that I'm feeling. Like fucking my neighbors, man. My neighbors. What do I feel about my neighbors, dude? There's a few of my neighbors. Dude, I'm so fucking tired. But I'm not. I'm tired in that way that you're just kind of like tired from doing nothing all day and tired from knowing that you're going to do nothing all day tomorrow too. My neighbors, man, they've been throwing parties, just random days throughout the week. And this has been going on since before Christmas. So this is not me complaining about them celebrating Christmas. This is me complaining about, it's 11 p.m. on Thursday night, and I've got to be up at 7:50 the next day. And I can feel, I don't just hear it, I can feel, my room vibrating to that rhythm. And then somebody walks out and is like, "Hey, Letitia, what the fuck you doing outside the party?" Just fucking like, I can hear them like louder than you just heard me, because the corridor for the apartments is behind where my pillow and my head rest. It's literally, there's a wall probably like this thick that separates me from the outside world when I'm sleeping. And they're just like fucking people arguing at louder than normal speaking voice level. And every time they open and close the door to the party, it's just like, when it's closed, it's like, and then they open it and it's like, no, like, fuck, man. When is it gonna end? When is it gonna fucking end? And on the nights when there's no party, you know what there is, man? There's a little fucking, just a little buzzing, dude. And I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it's the light that flickers outside of my bedroom that, that they should change the fucking light bulb, or if it's my refrigerator making ice. I turn that fucking ice maker off and it's still, and it's not flies, dude. The fruit flies are gone. The fruit flies are fucking gone. So it's not them. I don't know what it is, man. And then sometimes I just think maybe there's something emotionally that I'm not wanting to accept. Maybe I'm so hypersensitive. Why am I so hypersensitive to this fucking buzzing in my bedroom? Oh, man. One day I'm going to look back on all this and I'm just going to laugh. I'm just going to have a nice little laugh at how much I complained about things and how much I just was, I don't even know, man. Just like an angsty, fucking unsatisfied boy. 10 years from now, I'm not going to think of myself right now as a man. Right now, I'm like, oh, I'm 25, dude. I'm a man, right? But when I'm 35 and I've probably got like a fucking house or something, I'm going to be like, dude, I was a child and I want to punch myself in the gut. In the fucking gut, dude. That's it, man. That's the podcast. Happy New Year. Don't forget about your napkin plan for 2021. Just what's your personal intention for the year? What is your word for the year? And then what are you going to do to honor yourself, others, and your work, your passions, your hobbies? I've done mine and I'm pretty excited about it. I will report back about my ketamine infusion, ketamine booster, and I will see you next week when it's fucking the second week of the new year, man. Happy New Year. Best of luck to you in this new post-pandemic year where we will see many new strains of COVID. And if you like what you heard, subscribe, give it a fucking like. Come on, give it a fucking like, man. Give it a fucking like. Leave me a comment. Call me a dirtbag. Call me a fucking, call me something I don't want to hear today. And if you are finding the concept of a surrender journal or like a napkin plan or any of my talking about healing myself, I do a newsletter once a week. You can unsubscribe anytime. No spam, unless you consider helpful tips for feeling your emotions spam. you can unsubscribe if you do. And I will never bother you again. And you can subscribe again at any time. You can fucking be wishy-washy about it. That newsletter is at sendfox.com/NIKOAGF. Sendfox.com/N as in Nicholas, I as in Icarus, K as in Calis, O as in Alice, A as in Is, G as in Gomez, and F as in Fullerton. That is sendfox.com/NIKOAGF. And that's for writing and healing and all kinds of other lessons that I learn and that I constantly fucking relearn. And for writing prompts. I send out a writing prompt every week. All right. Thank you guys for listening. I will see you next week. That is the Pupils Life Podcast. Share it with your friends. 5-star rating on iTunes. Do all that fun stuff. If you love me, if you don't. All right, guys. Thank you.